Okay, so before we get into this, I just want to say the recording quality of this one is very not good. My bad on that, but I had a problem with my mic. I didn't notice until after I recorded it, and I obviously could not re-record my first time doing my selective summons. So I'm sorry for that. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Also, this is a very long episode because we're covering two very important things, the lab and selective summon. Also not the most informative because of those things. So this is mainly really targeted for newer players. So I hope this helps out. I thought it would be really important to go through the entire lab, all of my thought process behind it. So I didn't skip anything this time. I will skip it in the future, but for the first one, I just thought it would be. So enjoy, guys. And I am sorry for the audio issues. Hey everyone, Mega7 here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of our tutorial here. Today is our second day of this, our episode 2. We're going to do our selective summon for funsies. We're going to go through the motions, kind of tell you guys what I think about each role, and maybe go from there. Again, this account only uses 3 stars, so I will not be using any 4s or 5s, but I will pick and pass depending on what a normal player would try to go for. We're also going to take a look at the lab today since we just unlocked that, and that's one of the best places to get gear in this game. It is so important. And when I try to help people out, the number one thing I see them screwing up is they do not get the lab equipment. And even for me, on my main account that has been playing for Lord knows how long, I'm still using that labyrinth gear. So it is so very important. So let's first do our daily summon here. I'm sure we're going to get all the 5 stars on this account since I can't use them, but... Oh, we need our 3 stars! Come on, game! The troll game. We got Megara's Tome. So this one increases the caster's combat readiness by 15% when using a skill that does not attack enemies. You can also see that this is Soul Weaver exclusive, which you can only use it on healers. So the only person I can put that on right now is Aether, basically, and it's pretty good for him. Every time he uses his 2nd or 3rd ability, he will get a combat readiness boost. So it's not a bad one, but there's really a lot of good Soul Weaver artifacts. So let's get this going here. The way this selective summon works is, it's genius, really. It's one of the best features I've ever seen in any gacha game ever, if not the best feature I've ever seen. So the way it works is you have 30 rolls. That's 10 rolls of this reroll system here. And you go through your first one, you see if you like it, and if you don't like it, you pass it and go to the next one. That one you just pass is gone forever, and you get 30 tries to take a pick how you want to start this game. You can only get 1 5-star per, but you can get as many 5 stars as you get lucky enough for. So we got a character on the left side, which we talked about already. That is an artifact. When I'm starting this game out for fresh, I really like to go for a character just because it's more fun for me, but some of the more popular artifacts are definitely worth taking instead of characters if you want to go that route. But I just really prefer the characters. So this is our first one here. We got a 5-star artifact, Shimadra Staff. We're not going to keep this one just because there are no 5-star characters and no 4-star anything, so it's just not really worth it. When I'm considering these, I do not really look at the 3 stars because they're things pretty much everybody's going to get all of them over your course of like a couple weeks, maybe a month, maybe even 2 months, but you will get them all. It's not worth it to just base your decisions off those. So it's definitely the 5-star you want to base your decision off of. So let's skip this one, and if we summon again, we can no longer go back to that one. That one's gone forever. So our first here is a 4-star. It doesn't let you skip the animations of the 4 stars, but we can take a look at them anyway. We got her boy Cartuja here. I don't want to talk about every character, but if you have any specific questions, ask me in the description below. But in general, Cartuja is not so good, not somebody you want to look for, and all 3 stars outside of that, so we're definitely passing on that. As for what you want to keep, honestly, I really just keep what I like. I think the vast majority of the 5 stars you can get are fantastic, and it doesn't really matter too much which one you start with. That said, as we're talking about this, we just got Dust Devil. I hate how this is right there. Dust Devil is one of the better 4-star artifacts in the game. It's a thief artifact, so you can only use it on thieves. I have none on my team right now, but there's a lot of really good thieves, and it makes them just attack twice, which is just super nuts. So one of the best artifacts. So if we had gotten Dust Devil there with a 5-star character, I'd probably consider taking it, but because we got nothing else, we're gonna pass. So this is an artifact like we talked about there. Really hoping we get some good showcases here so I can talk about each individual one. We got Hellcutter, another very good artifact. This is good on a lot of the popular warriors in the game. And a 4-star character. We got a Silk. So Silk is one of those ones you can get in Connection for free. So not something I'm super excited about. We're getting a lot of 4-stars here. But like I said, it's really the 5-stars we care about. Moonlight Dreamblade. This is another thief artifact. It's not one I'm super happy about just because Dust Devil is there already. And Dust Devil is just better in most cases. So we're going to skip this one as well here. Give us some 5-stars to talk about. Come on, game. Okay, we got Sierra Wren, a mage exclusive which debuffs the enemy randomly when attacking. I do like that one, but again, we are not keeping anything unless it's a 5-star character. Watch us go this whole thing without a 5-star character. Just to troll me. We got Dingo. Dingo, Dingo, Dingo. There we go. Oh no, just kidding. We got lag. I thought it was it, but it was just the end of the summoning session. So Dingo and all 3 stars, so I'm gonna pass on that. I thought I felt lag. Every now and then the game trolls you like that. Okay, when we ever hit any 4-star characters I think are worthy talking about, we'll talk about them, but for now we haven't really hit any that are super important. I haven't been a big fan of any of them, but we got Dust Devil again, but nothing else. Dust Devil and Leo, definitely not worth keeping. We're already 7 of 30 in. Usually I get a good amount of 5-stars, so we've got a 5-star character here, which is really, really, really exciting. And we got Chloe. This is her voice line, by the way.
Long live the Queen!
So cool. She is actually one of my favorite characters in the game from an aesthetics sort of thing, but she is not the best. So I'm probably going to be looking for something else unless we get a 4-star healer or something like that to go with this. But she is ultra adorable. I would not fault anybody for taking her in her selective summons just because she is actually pretty solid with her nail. She has an ability, which we can't see because of my head here. She has an ability that makes it so anytime you hit somebody with a magic nail, it takes a proportion of their HP off just as additional damage. Really, really cool unit and really unique. Nobody else can really do that. But we got nothing at all but Chloe. I know I said not to look at 3-stars, but we didn't even really get any 3-stars either. So we're going to pass that. Poor Chloe. I'm honestly trying to think of which 5-stars I would prefer over others in this game, and I'm biased because I love Araminta, but I honestly think she's one of the better early starters. Sez is also pretty fantastic early, and he does get good later, or stay good later as much as some other people say. There's also Destina, who we can get, which is a very, very strong early game. Probably the strongest early game character you can get, but she does kind of not perform as well later. I'm trying to think of who else would be great that we can really pick up here, but I'm kind of running out. So hopefully they'll surprise us here. Okay, we got an artifact. That sucks. There's a couple artifacts I would keep. This is not one of them. This is another thief artifact. It is pretty decent for specific people, but to be honest, we have Dust Devil as a 4-star, and that's better for a lot of characters already. So we're going to pass that. We're almost halfway through this, and we got nothing at all, not even a 4-star from that one. This gets kind of scary when you get to later, because you don't know if you should take it because it's not really good enough, but you've only got 7 tries out left, so you kind of have to try for it. I always start to get nervous. There we go, come on. Ah, no. Right side, please. So, we talked about certain artifacts I think that are worth keeping. This is one of them. This is Rhianna and Luciella. This is pretty much the best artifact in the game. It has a 10% chance to be granted an extra turn at the end of turn, and you can upgrade that chance as well. So basically, when your thief goes, they have a chance to go again, which is just absolutely nuts. So I'm not going to keep it because it's the only thing here, but if we got a bunch of good 4-star characters, I'd consider that. There we go. So like I said, I don't even know what I'm hoping for here, but there's a lot of really fun things. Ah, Destina. Destina's always great. So if we got some good 4-stars with Destina, I might consider it. But with healers in this game, some of the 4-stars just outperform Destina, so maybe not one we're worth keeping. Oh, there we go. There we go. Maybe if we got... Okay, so we got Dominial. Dominial is not one of my favorite 4-stars right now. By design, she is, but by her performance, not so much. So this is a tough one. We've got Tagael's Ancient Book, which is honestly a PvP-oriented artifact, so I'm not even going to count this in the thing here. We got Dominial, who is not really too interesting, and we got Destina, who is just a hard carry early game, but that's about it. So I'm going to keep going just because it's more fun to keep going, but I would not punish anybody or be sad if anybody took that one right there. In terms of performance, if you care about performance over fun rarity stuff, like the best thing you can possibly get is probably Angelica. She's a 4-star healer. She's currently one of the best units in the game in terms of carrying your team. So that's something to look out for if you're really just looking for power. But as a player, I just feel like there's a good chance we're not going to be keeping this one. This is a PvP-oriented one too. As a player, long-term player of this game, I really think we should be focusing on only 5-stars. But again, if you're just looking for power, you could absolutely take a star-studded 4-star one with a bunch of really good 4-stars. Rosa Hagarna, really, really good artifact for Rangers, but not what we're looking for. I thought we'd have more choices. Usually you get a little bit more 5-stars when you're doing this. Usually I would have like 3 to 5 by now. We have 2 so far in characters. Dust Devil again. Oh, aww. We could have got Dust Devil and something else. And as I was talking about some of the best things you can get, we got Bloodstone. Not one of the ones I would keep for. Some of the best things you can get, Vildred is another one that pops up right now. Just because he's such a great farmer. He's also a great user of Dust Devil. So that is exciting. I just pulled Vildred yesterday on my main account, so I'm very excited about that. Wow, getting skunked on these last ones. We've only got 9 chances left. So here's hoping we get at least one more thing to look at. Tagael's Ancient Book again, another PvP artifact. The point of that one is to get your souls right off the bat and just to burn stuff. Burn is using your souls to enhancing your skills, just to get some big damage off first turn. That's the main use for that artifact there. Wow, we're really not going to get anything else. Mango is stressed. Not that it matters here, but I really wanted a good selective showcase for you guys. But this just hasn't been it so far. There we go! Oh no! No! Give us one good one here. Another Bloodstone. So we have 6 tries left. I've only ever been skunked on this like 2 or 3 times out of like 100 plus. So that would not feel good if the time I record it is the time we get messed up. Come on, game, let's go. Wondrous Potion Vial. This is one of the best artifacts in the game. Basically mandatory for a lot of things. Not mandatory, but super, super helpful for a lot of things. Come on. Oh, no. Not like this game, not like this. And of course, we got Rhianna and Luciella. So this is the ultimate test right now of whether we want to keep this artifact, because we're so close to the end. We got Sierra Wren, no character though. So we only have 4 tries left. If I am you and I'm not wanting to re-roll, I probably keep RNL at this point just because it's so good. But in all honesty, if you're this far in and you don't get what you want from your tenfold summon, I just re-roll and try again, because it doesn't take too long. Maybe like 20 minutes, maybe 10 to 20 minutes to get this going, and it changes your account for the rest of your life basically. So absolutely, if you don't get what you want from this, definitely re-roll in my opinion. It will feel kind of bad in the short run, but in the long run, you'll be very happy about it. And every time you do it, it does take, you get faster at it every time. We haven't seen a single 4-star healer from this either. There is Purgus. Not one of my favorite 4-stars. I don't like his personality as much either. We have Aureus, and this is, I think, the undisputed best artifact in the game, basically. Best 4-star artifact again. What this does is it allows you to equip it on a knight, and it increases the defense of all allies by 10%, which is just nuts by itself. And then it also takes 10% of the damage that your group takes and redirects it to your knight. Absolutely insane artifact, and one every person should try to get. So we've only got 2 chances left. Come on. Give us something. Give us something. Give us something. Okay, we got a character. Maybe Angelica. Okay, we got Sid. Sid is a very good single target DPS that a lot of people like to get, but I personally think there's so many single target characters that it's not worth it. He's very, 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 like 10 out of 10 in PvP too. Okay, we're on our last try. I think this is the worst I've ever done. But let's see what we can get. Okay, Cartusia. We start where we end. Ouch. Okay, so this is a good example of when I would uninstall the game and reinstall the game, or log out, I mean, and restart again, because we got nothing. We could have picked that Destina, but I don't think it was worth it. I think it was worth the risk to get better, but we just literally got nothing from that. So that is kind of unfortunate. I'm not going to accept that. One thing to note too, if we look at the 5-star heroes here, not everybody is in the selective summons. A lot of the new heroes aren't in it, and also people like Euphine is not in the selective summon, for example. There's also Crow not in the selective summon. There's also Haste not in the selective summon. So there's quite a few not in it. So taking a look at what we could have got, we could have gotten like Araminta here. We could have gotten Bale and Cezanne, who I think is really great here. We could have gotten Ravi, who is okay. We could have gotten Sigrid, who probably be one of the ones I wanted the most as a fun standpoint. We could have gotten Cez, we could have gotten Vildred, we could have gotten Iseria. So many things, but we got nothing. So anyways, that's that for there. So what's next here is the lab. The lab is where we get most of our equipment, most of our everything. And this is where I see most people start to screw up. This is where really everything comes from. So you get 3 lab tokens and they charge 1 a day. So every single day on reset, you'll get 1. So you never, ever, ever want to go to reset with a lab token max, because you're going to waste that lab token. It's also the best place to get ancient coins, which are perfect for upgrading your accessories. It's also one of the best ways to get power level early in the game. So I'm honestly not sure if I'm strong enough to take the lab right now, because I haven't done anything to my characters, but let's go see what happens here and try it out. So this is what the lab looks like. If you remember what we talked about earlier, this is the first lab. So there are a couple places here that are very important. One is right here. The bottom left, it looks like there's a chest there, so there's probably going to be a chest there. Right here, it looks like there's a chest there, so we should probably check that out. Number 2 is this area 2. This means if we leave at this section right here, we're going to unlock the next area. But if we leave over here or over here, we're not going to unlock the next area. So that's very, very important. So let's just go take a look here. There's also morale. Whenever your morale is at a certain point, you get different stats on it. Every time you battle, it takes 7 morale away from you. Every time you move a little bit, it slowly dwindles down. And whenever you switch zones, so like when I switch from here to here, or from here to here, it will take 1 more morale from me. So let's just see what happens. Let's see if this team can do it. We can also camp, which we'll talk about when we get to the point where we need to do it. So we can talk to our boy Crozet here. and keep on moving. So here's hoping this team can handle it. They should be able to. One other thing I forgot to mention yesterday was Archie, which is our guardian we're using right now, is based off your team's attack. So if your team has high attack, your Archie's going to do more damage. And also if your team has attack buff, like we just buffed up there, they're also, the Archie is also going to do more damage. So we're going to go check what's at this dead end up here first, and see what's going on. It's also worth noting that labyrinths usually take 1 to 3 entrances each time to get everything, so don't feel bad about going back to the same labyrinth you were in.
Do you like me?
So let's talk to Aether. Not sure what that did, but it is what it is. The other thing too is you can teleport areas. So if I wanted to teleport down here, I could for 3 morale, and as we talked about before, it would take 1 just to go here, 1 just to go here, 1 to go here, and 1 to go here. So it's way faster and way better just to teleport if you really need to move specific places. Okay, going down to the left here. Get a chest. I like my chests. And I think Uberid's piece is over here or over here, and that's really what we're searching for right now. That's where we're going to get our power level. The 1 piece of gear we get from this lab is going to be better than every piece we have combined, I think, at this point. Helga is so aggressive. I've never heard some of these voice lines before, so it's really fun to me to listen. Also, as a side note, if you have any requests on which character I should use out of 3 stars, please let me know in the comments below, because I can use whatever one you want as long as they are not the popular ones. So I don't want to use Clury, for example. I want to use people that aren't really used too much, that just seem fun. So we got our attack buff here, and we are getting bodied right now. I'm going to use Archie, just because we have attack buff, so it's going to do more damage. It's also going to help the rest of the fight. Depending on how strong your team is, you can go further down with lower morale, but my team is very not strong, so I have to go in with really high morale and just leave early, which is super fine. So one thing I'm noticing is Azalea is doing quite a bit amount of damage with her crappy gear, which is awesome. Okay, so we got that down. We're going to go down here to get this chest, and this chest gives us sky shards, skystones, sorry. Everybody gets that. Everybody gets the same thing. So that means this one over here is going to be a piece of equipment. So that's the one we're absolutely hunting for. One thing to note too is we need to do our camping. So let's hit camping at the bottom left here. And this one is kind of interesting. So I'm going to bring a website here. I'll have it in the description below. Currently, this is the best way to do this that I know of, but we might get a different way soon. So always be on the lookout. So the way this works, we have a bunch of different conversations each person can do. And depending on what your other team's likes, if they like what the person said, you get a boost of morale or even a drop in morale. So what we're going to do on this website here is put in all the people on my team. So I'm going to put Aether. I'm going to put Raz. I'm going to put Helga. And I'm going to put Azalea. And then what we're going to do is hit camping situation go. And it's actually a really good team. So we can see at the top here, it has total 26. So we get 26 morale from this. So we're going to do Azalea and do advice. And we're going to do Aether and heroic tale. So I'll put this in the description below. And see which your team gives you, because it's going to be different for every team. So we got 14 from that, and then I think we get 12 from this. And you can only do this once per lab, and you can only do this in kind of the safe areas where there's no moving. So that should put us over 30 now, which gives us the 30% health, and it makes sure we're not in bad at this point. The boss, I don't know if we're going to be able to kill it, but we're going to try. I'm probably going to have to manual it, but we will do our best. If you have any sort of 4-star characters or 5-star characters, or you level a little higher than I did, you'll have no problem in this lab though, so don't be worried. She's so rude.
I'll help you.
There we go, and you can see on the icon there we have a skull. That means it's basically the boss of the area. So one thing you can do if you're not at full health, you can hit this potion in the bottom left and heals allies by 10%. I'm going to do that even though I'm full. And the boss is Elson.
Don't get sassy with me.
I love her so much. She is hilarious. So defense down is one of the biggest buffs in damage in the entire game. So landing defense down first turn is very, very, very good. If you kill the boss, the ads die, so I'm just gonna go 100% on the boss here and just try to burn him down. It's also important if you know a boss is coming that's hard, to try to not use your abilities for the fight or two before, just so you can go into the boss with full abilities and everything. Okay, so we're gonna buff everybody's attack here, because we're just about to get enough for our Archie. And by the time we get to Aether's turn, he's the one that's not going to be doing too much damage, but we will have our Archie up. It actually looks like we don't need the Archie, so... No, I'm going to Archie just so they don't get a turn. My people are so flimsy they may just die, so this will be safe.
I'm just getting started.
Perfect, so Elson is dead here. And you can see this part is opened up now, so that's very important to note. What we're going to do is unlock this place here. And if you feel like you can't make it any further, you can leave now and this unlocks the next place. But what I'm going to do is just keep going, push as far as I can. If you do die in the labyrinth, I'm actually not sure about this. If you die in the raid now, which is something we'll talk about way later, you get to retry. I'm not sure if that is the same in lab, if they moved it down. I don't really want to test it out because I don't want to do this again, but I'm basically gonna push until I think I die, which is probably minus 30, and then I'm gonna go out. The lab is really important to get as many ancient coins as possible, so as much as you can push in the lab, even if you're not clearing anything new, is super worth it just to try to get as much of those ancient coins as possible. It's also really good XP too. I think we started at level 8 or 9 and we're up to 12 now on some. Also, if you're a new player, if you're following along just for fun, let me know in the comments what your team is, who you're using, any questions you have. I love answering, I love helping people, so just anything you need to ask, feel free to ask it. No Helga! Hopefully she survives. There we go. Jeez, they're really starting to hurt now, but we have Archie. Whenever things get really, really, really dangerous, we should be able to save with Archie. I was gonna use my potion, but I auto ran out, so hopefully they don't kill her. Ow, almost one shot.
I'll take this.
So right now I'm trying to make it right here. I know there is a merchant right there just because I know that. And I want to talk to that with you guys too, so I'm hoping I can make it there, so I'm gonna try to push to that merchant. No! Aether's down. It's okay, we've got Archie, so we should be able to push through anybody still. We're at minus 8, so things are kind of scary. I think we've got one more fight left. I'm going to try to push it. I'm going to manual this. I'm going to attack buff first just to make Archie hit for a little more. And then we'll use Archie here to try to take it down. If there's another fight after this, I don't think I can do it. So we'll have to show you the merchant next time.
I can't lose. To me.
I'll help you.
Eek! No, don't kill her! Oh, she's next anyway.
Wait, stop there.
So we're gonna hit this one. One thing I forgot to mention is,
You on.
I just noticed it now, I just realized we haven't talked about it, but there's a bar under each person's health. Obviously the green is their HP, but the bar there is their special ability. So they're split up depending on how many turns it takes them to charge their special. These guys, it takes 2 turns, so the red bar means the first turn is filled, and the second turn with this R here filled up will mean it's ready. So the turn after that, they'll use their special ability. That's why I killed the one on the right first, just because I knew he had a special up, which would definitely hurt me. Oh wow, we made it to the merchant. Nice! We just barely did it. So this is the Vagrant Merchant. He's in every single labyrinth, but you can only see one shop once a day. So it doesn't matter which labyrinth you go into, it's always the same shop. And one thing people do is zone into this labyrinth here, teleport to the top once you get it unlocked, go talk to this guy, and then buy whatever you need to buy, and then yield out. That doesn't use your labyrinth token, but you can check his shop every single day, no problem doing that.
You're lucky you ran into me.
So we have 0 gold, so we can't buy anything, but it's oftentimes useful to buy ring charms and necklace charms, and you can also get bookmarks and a bunch of other things from him. Nothing here we want to buy at this point, so we're just going to yield out. And by yield out, I mean we're going to exit right here. We're going to go right back in, actually, because we still have labyrinth tokens. And I want to show you the piece of gear we're going to get. So we got 2 charms, we got some sky stones, we got some ancient coins, which are super duper important. So we could go to zone 2, but there's stuff left in zone 1 we want, so we're going to keep going here. And our goal is to get right over here. And see if we can get 100% clear on this run. So we want to clear here, up here, over here, and over here. All the enemies do respawn, so it's important to note that we will run into things as we get going here. But that also means if you're redoing a place you've already been to, it's pretty good for ancient coins. So, of course, there's 0 enemies here for some reason right now, because it is always kind of random. But we should start seeing them. I swear there's going to be enemies, guys. I swear. There's enemies. There we go. Finally, some enemies. I'm actually kind of impressed with Azalea's damage right now. Pretty excited to try her out. I like her little headband thingy.
Victory!
And we'll get the chest here, get some gold.
I won't miss.
Just got Provoke too, pretty cool.
I'll help you. Huh?
I'll save you.
You can see people dual attacking too when they attack when it's not their turn. Each character has a chance to do that. Some things are better at others at it, like Rosa Hagarna, one of those ones we saw in the selective summons earlier, boosts combat dual attack rate, I mean. So there's different things you can boost by that, but in general you can't really control most of it. So you can see how much easier this is now when we have high morale compared to before. Just note that you never ever want to go under that -50 because you basically have no stats left. And even -31 or higher is too hard.
I'm just getting started.
Okay, and we get our chest here. Yay! So we got Uberid Spear. Awesome. We're going to upgrade that once we're done here, and I'll show you the upgrading system and talk about it a little bit. Those little blue things we just hit were also to boost our souls as well, if you were wondering. Let's go.
To me.
Hello.
So I'm gonna leave you here, and I'll be back in a little bit showing you the upgrade on Uberid Spear. I think you've seen enough of the lab so far. Kind of understand how it's going. I'm gonna do the same little thing with each lab, just so you guys can see how I approach them and maybe see what you missed and you need to go back and get. So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so here we are in our inventory system. We just got this new weapon. We can click up here to see it. This Uberid Spear. We're going to lock it because it's very important to lock things. And this is a really good piece of gear for where we're at, so we're absolutely going to use it. My goal with the Uberid set is to pick one DPS you really like to use and give them that set, because it'll really increase their strength overall. So I'm going to be using Azalea, so I'm going to try to give it to her. Early game, your items don't really matter too much, but forcing sets is actually pretty important. And the further you get in the game, the worse forcing sets is. But for now, we're absolutely going to equip that on her. And then we're just going to try to equip an attack set on her. So we need 4 pieces. I have 2 helms I can think about. One has 2% HP, one has 2 defense. So we're going to take the 2% HP. As for our chests here, we've got this one here, 1 speed, 1 effectiveness. 4 effectiveness, I mean. So we're going to take that one. And that finishes our set. We have this and 2 and this 2, but honestly, we'll just keep it what it is. Ooh, we have this too. 2% attack is not terrible. So maybe we will try to get that on somebody else. I also just noticed we have 2 artifacts as well, so we're going to equip Exorcist Tonfa on her. This does more damage dealt by 8% when the enemy's HP is more than 50%. And she has an AoE skill, so she's going to be pretty much one of the people on my team that gets the hits at the start, so I'm going to put that on her. And then let's enhance this. So we're just going to feed this to it here. The way enhancing works is actually kind of confusing. So for this piece of gear, at +3, +6, +9, +12, and +15, we are going to get a random substat. So these bottom 4 are substats. The one at the top, the attack regular, is the main stat. Every 3 upgrades, we are going to get a random substat increase, and it's a variable increase too. There's different ranges depending on their tier. It's kind of hard to explain, but you'll kind of figure it out as we go. But for example, this one instead, let's take a look at a different one here. This one here only has 1 substat, so at +3, instead of re-rolling an additional substat onto one of the ones it has, it re-rolls a new one. So at +3, it'll get a new substat there. At +6, it'll get a new one again. At +9, it'll get a 4th new one, and then at +12 and +15, it'll re-roll those bottom 4. So very important to understand this. You'll kind of get it as you can go. I'm just going to do this for now and see what we get. We got 5% attack, I think, so you can see our attack went up by, I think, 5%. So that's pretty good, exactly what we were hoping for, to be honest. And I'm going to keep it at +4 for now, because I'm not sure if I'm using these pieces. So instead, what we're going to do is go try to gear up other people. So we have Helga here, and she increases attack for the entire team. And she has defense down, so I kind of want her to go before everybody else. She already has 110, 109. We can see the speed here, 92 speed, and you with 95. So she's already the fastest, and we're just going to leave her like she is. We're going to gear her after. As for Aether, we want to take a look at Aether's abilities. We can see at the bottom it says, and barrier's strength is proportionate to the caster's attack. So that means the strength of this barrier is going to increase when Aether's attack increases. We can see here too, proportionate to the caster's attack and target's max HP. So we can see Aether scores or scales off of attack instead of HP. Most healers scale off of HP. So Aether's a little harder to gear because of that, but we will try our best. We also have Raz here, who scales based off the proportionate max health of him. So we're just going to gear him as HP-like as possible. And it's also worth noting that he is in our tank spot too, so it's important to get that up there. We've got health on boots, so we're going to put that there. As for helm, we've only got an attack set helm, and that's not doing anything, so we're not going to touch that. We've got defense there, and we've got a health piece here. So we're going to put this on him just to fill this piece of gear in. There's a lot of things I need to talk about with gearing, like what stats you want on each piece of gear, but that's way above where we're at now. So sometime in the future we'll talk about that, but don't worry about it too much yet. And that's all we're doing for him. That's good enough. Just completing these set bonuses is where we're getting most of our stats right now. as our gear is so terrible. So we want to try to get an attack set on Aethers. So we've got this ring here, 2% attack, I will take it. We've got boots with more attack and speed. That's 2 pieces. We've got an attack set here, and we just need 1 more attack set. Perfect. And then we can gear that attack set just super, super awesomely. We've also got a attack on this necklace here we're going to equip on him. And we're going to change this up to this as well. And this will act as a dual set to get his defense up a little bit. He was the first one to die in our lab, so maybe he needs to be a little bit tankier. And then finally, let's gear up Helga just with our leftovers. I don't think we can make a full attack set for her. We definitely can't. So what we're going to do is just work with what we have. So we'll just put that on there. It's got defense. That's a defense set. And the rest, we're going to put this up preemptively just because it's got such good stats. And then we will put this on too. So we'll hopefully fill some stats on her eventually. But for now, she's going to have to sit where she is and kind of be pretty in the back while she yells at everybody. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for this episode. I just wanted to walk you through the selective summons in the lab. We didn't get as much information done, but hopefully you can see how I process my equipment, how I think through it, and how I go about doing things in the lab, because the lab is so important. And we'll see over the next little bit here, the amount of power we get from our lab is just insane. And my characters right now are much stronger than they were before we did that equipment. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always. Let me know in the comments below what you think about series like this, and keep me updated with questions you have, and I can try to tackle them next video. So have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.